From the All Indiana Podcast Network.
The All Indiana Podcast Network.
This is the News 8 Daily 8.
Now all the latest news.
Kylie Conway has all the news you need to know.
And more.
Please stand by.
Now, here's Wish TV's Kylie Conway.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is the News 8 Daily 8 for Friday, May 21st. We're going to end the work week pretty warm. We're going to have sunny skies, some light winds. Going to get to the mid-80s today. As far as the weekend, the hottest air of the year is set to arrive. Saturday, it's going to be hot, and Sunday, highs approaching close to 90 degrees. In some places in Indiana, mostly southern Indiana, could reach that 90-degree mark. As of the most recent update from family, 12-year-old Deshaun Bills is on life support at Riley Hospital. He was hit by gunfire that came from outside his grandmother's home. We talked about this on the podcast yesterday. IMPD believes it was a drive-by shooting yesterday morning on Leland Avenue. That's on the city's east side. Officers say that Bills was hit while playing video games around 3:30 yesterday morning. They do not know if the home or anyone inside the home was the intended target. City and community leaders are now asking people to step up to stop the violence.
Our community is frustrated, and our city is frustrated. We have seen this far too often, and the solution is within our community.
Somebody taking her grandchild. She don't want vengeance, she wants justice. She don't want another grandmother to feel what she's feeling.
Police have not shared any information about a possible shooter. And we have learned that Deshaun was a 7th grade student at Arlington Middle School. Now, Indianapolis Public Schools are reacting to what happened. IPS says their thoughts and prayers are with the family. Clearly, students and staff will be grappling with what happened to Deshaun throughout the school day today. The district statement says, "This is a tragedy that our families and communities should never have to experience, and we are saddened by the gun violence that continues to impact us all." Now, that sentiment of tragedy is one we have heard echoed across the community over the last few hours. Outside the home where Deshaun Bills was shot on Leland Avenue, a memorial continues to grow. Neighbors who heard the gunfire early yesterday morning were shocked to find out Deshaun had been hit. They often watched him play basketball and say he was just a nice kid and didn't deserve this.
I heard the shot. It was terrible. It was just terrible. I was so nervous. I'm still nervous. I'm just sorry. I feel bad about it. Anybody. When young people get hurt like that, it really worries me.
It's just a tragedy, you know. Sorry for your loss. Something wrong in the neighborhood.
Police are still searching for answers in this case. Anyone with information is being asked to call the homicide line directly at 317-327-3475. You can also leave an anonymous tip by calling Crime Stoppers. And we are learning more about the 12-year-old directly from those who love him. His grandmother wants to know why it happened.
He was just innocent. And then playing a game, mind his own business. He didn't get in no trouble. He didn't do nothing wrong to anybody for somebody just ripped his life away from under him like that. He was a child.
Deshaun's cousin tells us that Deshaun was spending the night at his grandmother's house so he could help the family wash cars the next morning. In other news this morning, the Pacers are out ahead of the final lineup for the playoffs. It's the first time the team hasn't made the group of 16 in 6 years. Center Miles Turner tweeted overnight saying, "It's unfortunate we came up short." He went on to say, "He will always talk my talk for this city, so get used to it. Until next season, Indy." The blue and gold lost in the last of the play-in games against the Washington Wizards. 4 big playmakers were off the court due to injuries or COVID-19 concerns. Final score 142-115. This rounds out the first year for head coach Nate Bjorkgren.
Do you think you'll be back next year with the Pacers?
My focus is on the players right now, and I'm not thinking about myself. I'm really not. I want to just do what's best for these guys, and I got to go back and talk to them again. We talked here a little bit, when the game was over, but I'm going to go talk to them here a little bit more.
Indiana now returns 12 players from the roster who were hit hard by injuries. Most notable players who will become free agents are Doug McDermott and TJ McConnell. And today is Fast Friday at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It's the last chance for teams to find speed before Indy 500 qualifications this weekend. The gates are open. First laps start at noon. Drivers for Rahal, Letterman, Lanigan Racing will start practice 30 minutes late. IndyCar is penalizing the team after a photo op went bad at the very start of yesterday's practice session. The team's 3 drivers drove 3 wide across the yard of bricks, much slower than the rest of the field expected. Colton Herta checked up and swerved, brushing the wall and another driver, then vented.
Rahal thought it was a PR session, apparently, and thought it would be good to go 120 miles per hour, 3 wide over the bricks. They thought they had the track themselves, and it couldn't be further from the truth. So yeah, almost ended up really bad for me and Scott. I know it wasn't Scott's fault, but we had the bad end of the stick of it, and it's like completely unacceptable.
Our driver analyst Graham Rahal, who was one of the cars in the photo op, here's his response to Herta.
All I would say is use your head and look up, and that's what I said to somebody earlier. It's the first 30 seconds of practice. Okay, most guys in the first 30 seconds of practice are going out, feeling the car out, and like I said, pit stop practice as well. Cars going in and out of pit lane continuously and everything else. You have to pay attention. You can put it on us as much as you want, but at the same time, other guys have to pay attention, and he wasn't.
Herta ultimately missed about an hour of practice. He says the penalty for the other drivers is appropriate. And Santino Ferrucci was also in the photo op. Then his day got much worse. He crashed in the afternoon. He slid going through turn 2 and hit the wall really hard. It's not clear when he or the car will be ready to return, but there is some video that shows Ferrucci having a tough time walking once he got out of the car. The track's medical director says Ferrucci was taken to the hospital for imaging on his leg. He says the final call about Ferrucci's fitness to race will come today. Celebrations in the street after Israel and Hamas agreed to a ceasefire. The back-and-forth rocket attacks killed hundreds, including children, over the past 10 days. The agreement was negotiated by Egyptian officials. However, both sides have claimed victory. Israel's prime minister this morning is warning Hamas not to fire any more rockets. Benjamin Netanyahu says Israel will respond to that sort of aggression with a new level of force. The United States is historically an ally of Israel and initially backed what it called Israel's right to defend itself. But as the fighting dragged on, Americans protested, calling on President Biden to stop taking sides.
I believe the Palestinians and Israelis equally deserve to live safely and securely and to enjoy equal measures of freedom, prosperity, and democracy. My administration will continue our quiet, relentless diplomacy toward that end.
President Biden also promised humanitarian support to the people of Gaza. And Biden has signed into law a new measure aimed at curbing anti-Asian hate crimes. It's called the COVID-19 Hate Crimes Act because of the rise of threats and violence during the pandemic. The law establishes a new federal focus on the issue from Justice Department and sets up more support for local police and prosecutors and calls for ways to report hate crimes more quickly and easily. During the signing, Biden spoke to those affected by the violence.
We see you. And the Congress has said, we see you. And we are committed to stop the hatred and the bias.
The bill got widespread support from Republicans and Democrats in both the Senate and House. And today, Biden will award the first Medal of Honor of his administration. It's the nation's military honor. Retired Army Colonel Ralph Puckett Jr. will get it for valor in the Korean War. The White House says Puckett intentionally ran into an open area to draw enemy fire so his unit could seize and hold a critical position. Puckett later fought in the Vietnam War and is in the U.S. Army Ranger Hall of Fame. The ceremony is set for 1 o'clock this afternoon. A federal court filing now shows what agents seized during raids on Rudy Giuliani's home and office. Federal prosecutors say they took 18 electronic devices, adding that some belonged to his associates. Federal investigators are looking into Giuliani's ties to Ukraine. His lawyers have called the raids illegal, saying prosecutors should not have access to that data. And the Senate will now consider a measure to permanently improve security at the U.S. Capitol. It's a $1.9 billion spending bill that covers funding for increased security measures on Capitol grounds and money for the U.S. Capitol Police Force. It passed on a slim margin in the House, 213 to 212, with 3 Democrats voting present and 3 voting no. Supporters of the bill argue security upgrades are needed after the January insurrection. Opponents say that the wording in the bill could lead to a lockdown of the Capitol. Indiana University students are pushing to get fan attendance at the Little 500 this year. As of this morning, a petition calling on the school to open it up has more than 1,300 signatures. Students say they understand there need to be some rules in place. They're asking for the university to allow a limited capacity and make fans provide proof of a COVID-19 vaccination or negative test. But the university isn't budging. Last year's race was canceled due to the pandemic. And the university says between 12 and 16,000 people attend over the 2 days of races. Coach Chris Anderson says, as it stands now, no fans, not even parents of riders, will be allowed to attend. He says not only does this contradict the university allowing in-person commencement earlier this month, but it also prevents the IU Student Foundation from raising money to provide working students with scholarships. Plus, popular Bloomington bars and restaurants have reopened at full capacity.
Attending the Little 500 is a life-changing experience for IU students that is so unique to any other university experience in the entire country. Half our students at IU have not even been to a race. They're itching for this opportunity. I think that's why there's so much ground being made with this petition.
The university sent a statement to Wish TV. It reads, current COVID-19 restrictions remain in place in Monroe County, like physical distancing and masking. We are continuing with these for now as we plan for mostly normal operations when the fall semester begins in August. The university does not plan to make any changes ahead of the race. Students say they have reached out to the university and President Michael McRobbie directly, but have not received a response. The race is scheduled for Wednesday, May 26th. The women's race will begin at noon, followed by the men's race at 4. And the rate of COVID-19 vaccinations is slowing down across the country. That's according to the CDC. In mid-April, the 7-day average was more than 3.3 million people per day. The latest report from May 15th shows the number dropped by about half to now more than 1.6 million people. We're seeing a decline in Indiana as well. The state health department released a chart. It shows kind of where the peaks of the vaccinations were as far as the first dose, second dose, and then the single dose versions. We peaked in Indiana in April with more than 56,000 doses a day. That number has now dropped to around 30,000. Meijer is offering coupons to people who get their COVID-19 vaccine at its pharmacy and at others. You get $10 off any purchase after your appointment if you get it done there at Meijer. If you get your shot somewhere else, you can bring in your vaccination card and Meijer will give you a $10 coupon off of a $50 purchase. A police officer from Portland, Indiana in Jay County has now resigned over accusations that he tried to meet a child for sex. An online catch-a-predator group posted video of the incident, prompting the investigation. The mayor of Portland says the officer has turned in all of his police gear. Now, we haven't named this officer at Wish TV because he's not been charged to this point. Avon police are now working with prosecutors and the Portland Police Department on the investigation. A former cathedral teacher is appealing a judge's decision to throw out his lawsuit against the Archdiocese of Indianapolis. Joshua Payne Elliott says he was fired last year because of his same-sex marriage. The Archdiocese argues that the church is protected by the First Amendment and that it allows religious groups to set employee standards. Payne Elliott's appeal argues the dismissal offered no reason. He taught foreign language and social studies for 13 years. The animal park featured in the Netflix series Tiger King is in trouble. Authorities seized 68 big cats under the Endangered Species Act. The park is in Oklahoma, owned by Jeff Lowe and his wife Lauren, according to the Department of Justice. The DOJ says the owners were cited for not giving the animals adequate or timely veterinary care, appropriate nutrition, and shelter. The park had lions, tigers, lion-tiger hybrids, and a jaguar, now in the possession of the government. In South Bend, a high school teacher is reinstated after being suspended for inviting an anti-abortion group to speak in class. The South Bend Community School Corporation says the high school teacher returned to his classes on Monday. The district says the teacher came back after an investigation. It did not say anything about that investigation. Officials said last week that the teacher violated policies and procedures because he didn't seek approval for the speaker or tell parents in advance. 40 kittens and cats need new homes in Indianapolis. Animal Care Services says they are all from one owner who has now surrendered them. The shelter says vets have checked out all of the animals and they are available for adoption. To business headlines now, JP Morgan Chase is launching a new healthcare business. The goal is to improve the quality of medical care for the bank's 165,000 U.S. employees and their families. The new unit will have $250 million to make venture investments in companies with promising healthcare solutions. Google is opening its first physical retail store in New York City this summer. It'll have Google products like Pixel phones and Fitbit devices. The Google store will also have its own experts on hand to help troubleshoot issues with Google products and host how-to demonstrations. Panera, the sandwich and bakery chain, is following its peers with a pandemic-induced redesign that doubles down on digital ordering and drive-thrus. Computerized menus are replacing low-tech menu boards, and the locations are adding more options for contactless ordering through kiosks and the Panera app. The company said 85% of its business over the past year has come from apps or third-party services. Norwegian Cruise Line resumes ticket sales for Alaskan cruises. The cruise liner listed a number of Alaskan cruises on its website, slated for August, September, and October, with voyages sailing nonstop from Seattle to Ketchikan. Alaska-bound cruises were put on pause when Canada prohibited large ships from entering until next year amid the pandemic. But Alaska Senator Lisa Murkowski introduced the Alaska Tourism Restoration Act that would temporarily allow cruise ships to bypass Canadian ports. A new report says business ownership is key for economic recovery in the United States cities. The National League of Cities and the Democracy at Work Institute found business closures, job losses, and the shift away from local ownership collectively contribute to a loss of community vitality and character while accelerating economic inequality. They recommend city leaders invest in their small businesses. And finally, this year's Indianapolis 500 will sound different. Nope, not the buzz of the engines, but the absence of announcer Bob Jenkins. The longtime broadcaster and public address announcer is scaling back his work to fight brain cancer. News 8's Charlie Clifford talked to him and those who are missing his voice.
I don't know where I'm going to be on race day. I have no idea where I'm going to watch the race from, but I will be there.
This declaration tugs at the heartstrings of the most sentimental motor speedway on Earth.
Bub's the voice of the Speedway. You get here and it feels like a hug.
Announcer Bob Jenkins, a mammoth by any measure of motorsports broadcasting history,
The radio voice of the Indy 500.
is battling for his life.
Hopefully it won't be interrupted, especially by something like brain cancer. You kidding? Me? There's nothing else I can do. I have done what the doctors have told me to do. I pray a lot. It's going to be tough to hang in there for a while.
Although we won't hear Bob Jenkins' voice booming often this May around the Yard of Bricks, behind the scenes, organizers and fellow broadcasters of his past picking up the mic to share these special messages with one of their favorites.
As you mean so much to me, you mean so much to this institution. Your legacy is cemented here forever, and you know the doors are always open for you.
Bob, I love you. Thank you for everything, for sure. And you're in our hearts and in our thoughts each and every time we climb into this common broadcast booth.
Thank you for the contribution, not only to the Indianapolis 500, but in my life as well. I love you.
Bob, you're one of the greatest men I ever knew. You're a gentleman. You're always kind. You're always helpful. I love you.
You are something else. You said, I love you, dude. I really do.
Since our visit, Bob made it out to watch practice, leaving us all with this simple slogan: this time around.
It was fun to see everybody and to say hi to everybody. I'm glad I came. It's a great place to spend the day.
Charlie Clifford, Wish TV, wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook.
This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway. Online at wishtv.com and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
Check out more podcasts from the All Indiana Podcast Network now at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.
All
IndianaPodcastNetwork.com.